Hey, good looking. I'm so glad that you came to my kitchen today to sit there and see what we all have cooking. Grab a hold of that vine, swing right on into my kitchen, and let's get cooking. As you see by my set here today, we're doing a Christmas in July video. It is a collaboration video, and I'm joining in with two beautiful women, Jen Gao and Linda's Pantry. Be sure to go and check their channels out. Now I'm going to leave a little link down below where you can go and check out each one of their videos. I mean, they're putting up some wonderful recipes. Well, today in mine, I'm paying honor to my belated Aunt Kathy again. Now, my family is all about Amish. We always were. I grew up with so many Amish dishes, and I have to say, I love Amish cooking myself, and I always put this in jars for my family to put up on my pantry shelves, and I figured since my family was all about Amish, and we just lost my Aunt Kathy, and she was a great inspiration to me and to my cooking. I mean, she could set the bar high for some of us ladies in my family. So in honor of my belated Aunt Kathy, I am going to be sharing my recipe of the Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie. So be sure to sit there and follow right along with this video. Okay, now I brought out the ingredients. Basically, what you're going to be needing, I don't have any chicken broth on hand. That's something that I need to be canning up, and there'll be videos coming in the near future of how I make my own chicken broth. But when I'm totally out of broth, I will sit there and use chicken bouillon. So we're going to be using some chicken bouillon, salt and pepper. Now, I did do a canning video on this. I'll be sure to leave an iCard up above, but I showed you how to make the Holy Trinity in the video along with mirepoix. Now, you're going to need 1 pint jar of the Holy Trinity, and you're going to need another pint jar of the mirepoix. Okay, put them all to the side. I have 3 rather quite big chicken breasts, as you all see. We're gonna sit there, and I always, before I do any canning of any type of protein, I'm all about them layers of flavor that we all savor. So I always par cook my meat. I like getting the brownness on because that's a layer of flavor. Now, with that all being said, we're gonna set the chicken off to the side. And our very last video. Now, I made a separate video on how to make Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie noodles. That's right. In this pot pie recipe, there is no crust. They make their pot pies with like a dumpling type of a egg noodle. That's the best way I can describe it to all of you. But right here I have, and these are all dried up, and these are my Pennsylvania Dutch pot pie noodles. So I'm gonna sit there, bring the camera on in, because there's no room right here for me to be showing you all, and I want you to sit there and be able to see what I am actually doing. So I'm going to bring the camera in up close and we're gonna sit there and show you how we make the Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie that we're gonna be giving out as Christmas gifts. So let me get it all set up and we'll take it from there. Okay, I brought you in for the close-up view. Now, I'm gonna sit there and simply put my chicken breast, and I am gonna be browning it all up in my Instapot. Otherwise, you could take it over to your stove and just par cook your chicken breast. All right, I have 1 tablespoon of cooking oil. My husband's over here mocking me. We have 1 tablespoon of cooking oil inside of our Instapot. We're gonna put the saute on. We're gonna heat that all up. Want to tell them how delicious this Pennsylvania. I'll let my own husband tell you in his own words how delicious this Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie recipe is.
It's delicious, Tina. It is.
Okay, our oil is heating up. I'm gonna sit there and lightly season my chicken breast with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. And then inside the Instapot they go to get their tan on. So let's put these babies in, and I like to put the season side down and then come back with a little bit of salt and pepper and season up the other side. So when these start getting their little tan, and there's that beautiful sound that I'm looking for. Now, like I said, I'm gonna sit there and season up this side of the meat as well. So here's my pepper I'm putting down and a little bit of salt. Now, we're just hard cooking these. I want to put a little bit of flavor on the outside of the chicken breast. Then I'm going to bring it out and we're going to keep it all up for the Pennsylvania Amish pot pie recipe. Now I want to talk a little bit about the Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie noodles that we are going to be adding to the recipe. Now remember I told you, they're like a dumpling. These are gonna get bigger, and you want to talk of a hard egg noodle. Oh, you have to try the Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie noodles. They are to die for. In fact, this is such a hearty soup that it really leaves you fulfilled. I mean, you're not leaving the table, you know, like you would a little bit still hungry from everyday soups. You're going to be leaving the table having a hearty belly full of a good Popeye soup. And you want a secret? This is one of them canning recipes of mine I have to hide in my pantry. That's how good it is. My family will go right back there in my pantry and they'll grab this because they know how filling and how tasty this Popeye soup is. Oh my God, I said Popeye. I meant to say pot pie. The husband's already asking me if there's gonna be any leftovers for a tasting, and I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna open it all up, and we're gonna make it right away. And I'm gonna let you sit there and see for yourself of how delicious this looks in a bowl. Now I'm just gonna quickly show you. This is how I want you to get the sear on. Get all that little nice caramelization going. It's a layer of flavor you're gonna be savoring. Okay, I flipped the chicken. We're gonna put the tan on the other side of the chicken breast, so we have that little added layer of flavor to savor on the inside of our Instapots. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna open up my 2 jars there, one of the Holy Trinity and one of my mirepoix. I truly think you're going to be amazed of how simple and how easy and how fast this is to can up. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie noodles. Now, if I had a nice little fancy cellophane bag, I would be putting the Pennsylvania Dutch pot pie noodles in there. But, see, we're in COVID, and I'm still in lockdown here. I don't have any cellophane bags on hand. So, I'm going to sit there and opt to put my Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie noodles in another jar. And if I haven't said this before, this is a pressure canner recipe. Anytime you're canning meat, you have to pressure can it. Now, I have quite a few pressure canners around here. I have an All-American pressure canner. I have my Presto pressure canners, and I have my Carry electric pressure canner. You can use any one of them to pressure can this recipe up. I'm bringing you in for a close-up view of what I mean when I sit there and say, that's a chicken breast you can can out. This, right here, is what I'm talking about. That's a layer of flavor we are sure to be savoring on. Believe me, you're going to want to go through just this one little extra step. It's a layer of savor that really puts some oomph into this Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie recipe. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab my dish here. I'm going to put the chicken that we par cooked. Remember, we only par cook these. Onto my platter here. I mean, come on, look at that. Ah, you're gonna be so glad you did this. You don't have to, by the way. I'm just saying, it does add a layer of flavor. So, I'm gonna bring you in again so I can show you all that goodness on the inside of my Instapot here. I mean, look at this. Oh my goodness, that's gonna be so good amongst our Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie. I'm gonna grab the Holy Trinity. We're gonna open up that jar. I mean, look at the goodness in that jar. Oh my God. Now, I'm not going to drain the juice or anything. We're just going to add that whole jar, juices and all. Now, let's go ahead, grab that jar of mirepoix that I've canned just as well as the Holy Trinity. I'm gonna open this jar up. And again, oh my goodness, look at all that goodness. Again, I'm not draining. I'm just opening, and we're gonna dump all the contents right into the Instapot. We're gonna sit there, grab a spoon, and I'm just gonna come in, and we're just gonna get all that goodness from the chicken up the bottom, loosened up. We're gonna incorporate it into the Holy Trinity and our mirepoix. We're gonna warm this all up. I'm gonna sit there and grab my chicken bouillon, or if you have canned up chicken broth, go ahead, add a good quart. Now, with my chicken bouillon, I'm gonna grab I'm using a tablespoon, and I'm gonna give 2 good heaping tablespoons worth of bouillon right into this Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie recipe. So, there you go. And now I'm gonna sit there and add a quart of water as well. I grabbed 1 quart of water. Let's go ahead. Add the 1 quart of water. Again, we're gonna sit there and give everything a good zhuzh around in the Instapot. We're gonna allow all this to heat up. I'm gonna sit there in the meantime. I'm gonna sit there and chop up into bite-sized pieces this par-cooked chicken. Let's bring you in for a close-up view of what's inside of our Instapot. Now, I'm just bringing this up so it's nice and hot. I'm gonna sit there and cut up my chicken while this is all heating up so I can put it into my canning jars. We're gonna add the chicken to this. We're gonna make sure we bring it back up to heat before we do add it to our canning jars. But look at that goodness. I mean, look at it's chocked full of veggies. You got your onion, you got your celery, you got a little bit of pepper, and you have your carrot. And also, while you're getting your broth here with all the goodies of the pepper, the carrots, the onion, the celery, you're gonna want to sit there and just taste this to sit there and see if you might need a little bit more chicken bouillon inside or a little bit more pepper. I would caution about adding any more salt to it. I mean, that you can always add at the table. But we've added, salt when we were making the mirepoix and our Holy Trinity. You saw me add salt to the chicken, so caution on the side of caution with the salt. Okay, like I said, go down, get a spoonful, and savor the flavor to see if we need to add anything. That's perfect the way it is. I'm not going to add anything. Now, I just zoomed you down into my work zone here, and I wanted to show you how I cubed up the chicken to be almost the same size as you did your Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie noodles. Now, I know it may sound like I'm saying Popeye. I am saying pot pie. I've been told we have an accent up here. I don't see it, but I am saying pot pie. But you're going to want your chicken all in bite-sized pieces. Now, we're going to add it to what we have going on in our Instapot. So, let's just add this little pile, and I'm going to quickly chop up the rest of my chicken, and we're just going to bring this all back up so everything is all evenly heated before we put it into our canning jars. I mean, come on, you tell me, who would not love to bite into a beautiful piece of browned up meat? There is no naked, ugly chicken being added whatsoever to this Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie. I mean, come on, look at that. So let's go ahead, add this pile of cubed up chicken breast. Now you can use thighs or any type of dark meat. You don't have to use chicken breast. It's just what I do prefer when I do make mine. Let's add the last pile of our par-cooked chicken. Ooh, fog up, fog up. I'm gonna add what came off of the par-cooked chicken. We're gonna add that right to the Dutch. We're gonna add it right to our pot pie mixture. Give this all a good stir. Now we're gonna allow the chicken just to be warmed up. I want everything to be warmed up before we put it all into our canning jars. So, while we have this all warming up, as you see, I put the Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie noodles into a pint-sized jar. Now, I'm going to grab myself a canning lid, place that on, and then I cut out just a circle of gingham, and we're going to place the gingham right over the top of our pot pie noodles, kind of center it. It's okay if you don't get it quite all the way centered. We're going to sit to put the canning ring on, and this is how I'm going to present the Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie noodles. So I brought out my canning funnel, put that down on in. I have my ladle. Let's just move the wooden spoon over. Oh, look at their goodness. Oh my God. I mean, you don't even have to can this if you don't want to. You can just sit there and throw this all together like I showed you and take it from there. But we're making this for gifts to give out come Christmas. Now we're just gonna fill this up to the bottom ring of our canning jar. Let's go grab the debubbler. Debubble. Now I'm going to grab the canning lid and the canning ring. Let's zoom you in a little bit closer. Okay. We're going to come down here. I have my canning lid and my canning ring ready to go. We debubbled. As always, we're going to run our paper toweling around the whole rim of the jar, just in case you have any food particles. We're going to remove them all. We're not going to do anything to compromise our seal from the rubber ring that's around your canning lid or from your canning jar. Place your canning lid on. Grab your canning ring, finger tighten. Now, I'm going to put this off into my pressure canner. Okay, I saved some behind because I cannot make this and not let my family have any of it. So, I'm going to sit there and show you how to simply make the Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie. Now, when you open up a jar, go ahead, throw it in a pot, is what I have here. I have mine in the Instapot. Now, I saved some of the noodles behind. We're just going to pop them all on in. Give that all a good zhuzh. Now, I'm going to sit there and add at least 1 cup of water because these noodles are going to absorb some of that broth up into the noodle itself. And don't worry with all that flour that's on the Amish pot pie noodles because that's going to help thicken up the juices that are inside of this pot pie mixture. So I'm going to add 1 cup of water. Alright, let's add 1 cup of water. Give that another zhuzh all around. And we're just going to sit there and cook the Amish pot pie noodles until they're done. And then my husband can eat. He's waiting here so patiently, people. So I'm just going to sit there and allow the noodles to cook. Alright, you saw me put it on the side of my canning jars. Now, anytime I make this, I am forced to sit there and make a portion to have because I cannot just put this in canning jars. It's too well loved in this household. My husband has not left the house during the whole filming of this. He's been sitting there so patiently waiting for our Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie noodles to finish cooking. Now, I sat there and I was sitting there being really careful to watch the time because I know y'all are going to ask me this. How long does it take for the Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie noodles to cook up? Well, it took roughly about 30 minutes. So I have myself a bowl. I grabbed a spoon. I have my trusty ladle here. I'm gonna move my spoon over to the side. And now, when I say pot pie, most people when they think pot pies, they think of a crust that, you know, they're gonna have a pot pie. And with the Pennsylvania Dutch, no. I mean, can you look at that? Oh my God, look at that. I mean, here, let me get a spoonful. I mean, you want to talk about heartiness. Look at that. That's a good bowl of pot pie.
Looks superb, Ma.
Well, you know what?
Take it over.
I really have to take one for the team here. And this baby, it has my name written all over it. Sorry, honey, but this bowl is mine. You can come and get yours after I'm all done, but let's give it a good old YouTube taste test. Oh my God, so good. What a slice of heaven it is to be having this Pennsylvania Dutch Amish pot pie. Now, if you liked what you saw here today, go up above, hit that subscribe button, tap that little bell, that way you'll always be notified every time I do put out a video. But here's the happy cooking, but better yet, happy eating. Y'all come back now, you hear? And don't forget, give me a big old thumbs up. So, until next time, I'll be seeing you.